Hey, Matt and Mina. Hope you're having a good Q4. Would love to hear your thoughts on PPC automation. Overall opinion of automation, and if you support it, how do you introduce automation from scratch? Great question.
I'm against automation. I think there is a certain amount of automation that you could use to your benefit. But at the end of the day, automating your ads is essentially like automating your stock market, like buying and selling shares. It's not the right thing to do. It's too dangerous. There's too many factors to take into account that a machine could get wrong, no matter how much they tell you about AI and machine learning. And here's a few reasons why I don't like automation. First of all, you don't need to change a lot of things at once. It's actually bad to change a lot of things at once because let's say that you change 500 things or you change bits 60 different times in one day. How can you tell if what you did a good job or a bad job? You can't. And because you can't deduce that, then you don't know if what you did was right or wrong. Then you're kind of blind. As if you're a DJ and you have all these knobs and you change so many all at once and you're like, there you go. You can't figure out what made the noise good or bad. That's one thing why I'm like, okay, why do you even need automation when it comes to changing bids or whatever? If you're thinking about using automation, there are some use cases that are good. Let's talk about automation. When we're talking full automation, like just run on your own and do the actions, I think guardrails. So keywords that are spending money with no sales, after a certain limit, you can say, if I've missed it as a human, machine, you catch it. Okay, cool. Because that hasn't generated sales or generated one or two or three sales in the last 60 days. That's happened, pause it. That is a negative. These are precautions. If a campaign in the last 30 days has performed with a certain ROAS, increase the budget. Simple stuff. That's where I would use automation. But increasing bids, launching new campaigns, adding negatives to things that are after Black Friday, Cyber Monday, for example, all your campaigns are performing worse. All your keywords are performing worse. If you have a machine running, it's going to chop. It doesn't see anything. It's like it's going to see ahead and it's going to cut it off. And it's not going to say, oh, well, actually, if I waited, a few more days. Also, attribution delays. You could cut a keyword, lower a bid, negative a keyword, whatever. Not in like the clear cases, right? Like no sales in the last 30 days and it spent a lot of money. If it's like one of those like not clear cut cases, what could happen is you just end up losing a keyword for no reason. But attribution, you just wait for it. And next thing you know, and this will happen sometimes, I'll go in and I'll check some of my team stuff. And I'm like, why did they pause this keyword that is performing really well? And then I realized that at the time that they did it, because of the attribution delay, it was actually very bad. And then they paused it and then it got attributed all the sales and then it performed well. Now, if you want to do semi-automation, which is, hey, help me identify everything, help me take action at scale, and then I'm going to review it and upload it. Cool. I approve of that. That's kind of what we do is download bulk sheets, run some macros to make our life easy, upload it back up. Life is good. Those are my thoughts. That's honestly my thoughts on automation. Don't run away from the hard work.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that contextual things are what AI at this point in 2023 is going to miss. Right now, it's getting better every day. Where I like automation and where I like AI is for fun dashboards, right? To slice up the data for me in unique ways that I can then come in and look at and cast a human judgment using contextual analysis. Like Mina was saying, it's very good, a lot of data very quickly. What it's less good at least to date, is contextual analysis, i.e. seasonal changes. Maybe you've got a campaign for a lawn care product that crushes in March, but is terrible in December. And if you've got a look back window for 60 days, it's going to pause that target. Just generally, consumer behavior is the driving force behind all of this, Chad. And that is like an ocean, right? It changes based on how people are feeling, their economic stasis, time of year. Is it holiday season? Is it not? So all those things are going to come into play. At some point, there might be a machine, a program, software that does that and manages that all really effectively. I haven't seen one yet, and I haven't heard of one yet that really does it well. So I still think, to just pair it off what Mina said, I still think that yes, you can use automation and you can use AI to make your life easier, to shortcut certain things that are obvious hit or miss, obvious binary yes no choices, or to accumulate and analyze data for you in a way that saves you time so that you can then make human judgments.
Totally agree. I love that you mentioned that, the market is like an ocean because it's like it's always changing and you're adapting. And that's why sometimes like your ACOS is going to be higher, your ACOS is going to be lower, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just looking at like everything and just reacting and iterating as opposed to it's this people want to hear. If it's greater than 65% ACOS, then do this. It's never like that.
No. And anybody who sells you, Chad, on like, oh, I'll come in, I'll do a one-time audit, I'll optimize your ads, and then you'll be good to go forever, run full speed in the other direction from that person. Chad says, Mina, I totally agree with this POV. Had a few bad experiences with automation. I tend to. I think it's, it's a value add where you can add it to your tool belt as one of the tools that you use. Chad says, would your opinion change on automation if you were working an 8-figure account with 500 to 1,000 ASINs? I love the reco on using automation for the easy layups like negating keywords.
It's actually going to be more valuable in terms of guardrails because, it's so big and can't have eyes everywhere. But at the end of the day, you have 500 to 1,000 ASINs. Probably, let's say 100 of them are generating most of the revenue. And you're going to spend
If
time on
that.
each one.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If that. And you're going to spend time on each one, looking at it, studying it, figuring out what works, testing it, and then moving on to the next one. At the end of the day, like what you give energy to and what you water grows.
You completely agree, right? That's what macros are for. And you're going to spend the phrase I use, the sort of anecdote I use with my team, or the phrase I use with my team is, right, be a Wall Street Journal reporter, follow the money. In terms of like follow your hero products, that will, and where your spend is going, and that will sort of naturally guide you to where you should be spending most of your time. But answer wouldn't change. That's what macros are for.